of having to be with you today to identify and being able to find solutions to critical areas of need and our development. I've come to address a number of issues this morning. I've toured across the countries, meeting and then discussing and interacting with people on critical areas of development, and I found there's any areas that while we will talk about government intervention, there's also need for interventions of well-being Nigerians, especially as it concerns the area of health, education, and pulling people out of poverty. And the two areas of need that I want to do what I call today an appeal challenge is in area of water and education. And my appeal is to a number of Nigerians. 1% of the population of this country, which is about 202 million, I believe control about 70% of the national wealth. But my appeal is to 0.1%, 200,000. So it's even below the 1%. In water, I found the continuous need for potable water across the country, which to provide pipe-borne water will take several years, which I urge the government to do whatever it takes to start in that direction. But in the meantime, to have a short-term solution that can impact greatly, there's need to drill boreholes across the country. And my appeal is to these 200,000 people to drill at least one borehole a year. Just one. You could do more, but do one a year. This will cost between 5 to 10 million, just one a year. And that will be 200,000 boreholes scattered all over the country. And it will go a long way in solving this problem while we wait for government to do the potable water system, the pipe-borne water system. My second appeal is in the area of education. Education, as you all know, is the most critical tool of development. The more educated any nation is, the more developed, the more they pull their people out of poverty. And poverty has been an issue of challenge, even in our security. And we need to deal with it head on. And I've taken to do a study of how we can help, especially as we have millions of children out of school, mostly in the north. And I've taken to various states, taken stock of various studies, especially with their emergency school system or learning system, as the case may be. I've now visited those who are, you can call the teachers, and had the opportunity of taking time and immerse myself into the Quranic learning with the young kids. And I could see in them very brilliant people that will be doctors, lawyers, scientists, competent political leaders of tomorrow. And I said, the only thing we need to do is to develop a Shanghai system of education that inculcates the chronic studies with Western education and ensure that all the centers across the north and wherever, even in the south where there's problem where you have some out-of-school children, you can put them together in a system like that and ensure that while they are learning the Quran, they're also learning mathematics, English, science, and skills that will make them a complete person and contribute immensely for the run of the country. Because I could see it. It's clearly a talent that is missing, and this is easy. I went further to study the cost implication, because it's very easy. Why they cannot go to school? My proposal is to take school to them. Take this education. The same spot where they are learning Quran, which are found them dedicated, willing to learn. Let's bring English teacher there. Let's bring mathematics teacher there. Let's bring science teacher there. Let's go there and teach them skills alongside the same learning. And I did a studies because I asked them in the center that I studied, how much do you pay the teachers? How much does it cost you to operate this facility? The facility had over 50,000 people with 2 teachers. And I said, what is their salary? You wouldn't even believe it. They paid them little or nothing. So I proposed even a salary to accommodate them while employing the English, mathematics, and science teachers. And I could see a cost to operate each center of about 5 million naira annually. But I doubled that to make it 10 million for each center annually. And my appeal is also that these 200,000 people support each of those centers. If we're able to do that, 50 people in one center with 200,000 people will give us 10 million. Imagine if we do half of that and we're able to pull 5 million young people out of the number of out-of-school children, and with this, knowing that in 5 years, these people will be in position to contribute immensely to the development of this nation, and we would have pulled them out of future poverty and reduce their involvement in future criminal activities and everything. So that is my appeal. This water and education. I have done 10 boreholes, about 10, out of which 1 or 2 is having challenges. I intend to go back and make sure that all of them are functional. And I'm also promising to do about 10 more. For the school system that I advocated, I've also supported 1 with the 10 million, and I intend to do 2 more. But my appeal is to these 200,000 wealthy Nigerians who can do without 20 million naira annually for us to support this challenge. Among other things they do, because they are taxpayers who have been very good citizens, who have supported other areas, including pulling people out of poverty. But this challenge will go a long way. At the same time, I'm appealing to governments at all levels, federal, state, and local governments. We're in crisis. It is time to cut all waste. Put all resources in this challenge of pulling the poor people out of poverty. We have a crisis that is driven by poverty. We can no longer, as a nation, afford to throw people into poverty. We need to pull them, start pulling them out of poverty now. That is my reason for taking your time this morning. Just an appeal. And I'm appealing to everybody. Let our priority now be fighting poor people, poverty, and helping poor people to live. Thank you. They're already tackling the food shortage. I mean, you know that if there's anybody who has preached about food shortage, it's me. I've always said that the priority should be in dealing with uncultivated vast areas of the north, which I still believe we're not giving enough attention. We need to do that aggressively. And I'm doing that. I'm supporting so many other areas of farming. And I'm sure you're following me. I'm going to so many farms, supporting so many farms. But I said, among other things we do, I'm doing things in health, visiting School of Nursing and everything. But this particular challenge that I posed now, I said they should add it to what they're doing, because you can not only deal with today. When you talk about food, you're talking about food of today. I want to talk about food of tomorrow and development of tomorrow. It is critical that as you're dealing with today, think about tomorrow. Those who focus only on today will miss tomorrow. We have a crisis in security that has been created by not supporting people educationally yesterday, doing the right things yesterday. So as we try to solve the problem of today, let's invest in tomorrow. And whether borehole will be the only thing I do, I just said it's in short term. I'm sure you know how to do far more than that.
Thank you. Mr. Chooks?
Good morning, sir. Closely related to what you are backing up, many has described as within the country, because campaigns have not started. One, are you on campaign? Two, if you're on campaign, are you not worried of what is happening in your party, the Labour Party, and the Nigerian Labour crisis? That's the second question. Third question. This week you criticized the coastal road projects. What would you have done if you are in a position to do it?
Thank you. Number one question is that I'm not on campaign.
Sir?
Number one question is that I'm not on campaign. I know we live in a system where for public office holders and people who call themselves politicians, which I'm among, we are only after elections. We only be seen during elections. But I can tell you, it's everyday job. It's something you need to go around and learn the problems of the country, so that you actually know how to solve them, and contributing and building a better society has nothing to do with office. I've said it several times that I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. And desperate to see Nigerian, the poor, the less privileged in Nigeria, being pulled out of their difficult situation daily. That is what I'm desperate to do. That's what I'm desperate to see. And all of us can do it in one way or the other. You can't be happy. You can't be moving around when several millions don't know where the next meal will come from. When people don't even have water. When I see children, if you see my pain, when I sat with those children and reading Quran and see how they were able to recite and write that, I could see geniuses everywhere that we have abandoned. So it is not campaign. On issue of Labour Party and NLC, that issue, I can tell you, will be solved. It's begin giving its own attention. But we're always concerned about party. We're not concerned about what we're supposed to be concerned about, which is the future of the people. It is about the people. So for me, the people are where I'm focusing. On the issue of what I would have done if I was president, let me tell you, my brother. If I was president of Nigeria today, nobody would think of any new road until we finish the existing ones. You see, in this country, we are always trying to do things out of priority. Today, my brother, you can't move from Lagos to Badagry. A short road of less than 100 kilometers. It's been under construction for several years. Lagos Ibadan is just being completed for several years. You can see Badagry to Ore. The same thing if you come in to the north, you look at Kanu to Kaduna, Kanu to Medugri, Sokoto to Funtua. I can show you all the roads. In Kaduna, I drove from Kaduna to Abuja yesterday. Just Kaduna bypass alone can keep you 4 hours. And when I go to Jere, it is the same thing. You can't go from here, drive from Abuja to Okene, to Awuchi, to Benin. In fact, Benin to Awuchi road is impossible. You can't go from Benin to Sapele to Warri. You cannot go from Calabar to Uyo. These are roads. You can't drive today from 9th Mile to Makodi. These are roads that are already existing and have gone bad, and we need to repair. That's where we need to put our resources and deal with it. We already have a network of roads that if we fix it, you can be able to move the economy. Then you introduce new one. Why are people introducing new things when the existing one is not existing? When I was governor of Anambra State, I started by completing the roads started by my predecessor, Dr. Chris Ngike. And then after that, you can add a new one. Because there's existing roads that are not, you cannot even drive past. So for me, that is the critical areas that needs attention. And that's where I will concentrate.
Thank you, Mr. Abbas.
Due to some areas prone to landslide, mudslide, traffic and things like that. So why are you not thinking of other solutions rather than getting the water and using bigger things that might around boreholes across the country? That's number one. Then your former DG campaign, Dr. Leo, said that your mind has never been in the Labour Party. Ahead of 2027. Firstly, did you agree with him? Was he speaking your mind that Labour Party is just a kind of special vehicle for you to realize your ambition? Then the second part of that question is, if Labour Party didn't work in 2027, are you moving or where would you like to move to?
Well, let me again assure you, I'm not talking about the next election. I'm talking about solving the problem of Nigeria. The next election will come in 2027. Nobody knows who will contest in 2027 or those who will not contest. I'm preoccupied as a politician for now to deal with issues that affect the ordinary Nigerian. In terms of borehole, I said it's a temporary, short-term measure before you have water. If you have a situation where you have accident today, let me tell you, and they take you to hospital, and you need blood, there's an occasion where they will use a bit of a matching blood to deal with the system first until they get the right thing. So it is important that you understand. I didn't say this should be the solution. When I was governor, I did borehole in all the secondary schools. I know that when I was a student, we had a pipe-borne water in the school. But I did borehole because that was a short-term measure. Other people will now continue and do so. We must find a short-term solution to be able to get people to have potable water. And on what is in my mind, only God knows.
Okay, point please. Then point please. After you spoken, point please.
Yes,
Okay.
John Akubo is the name. I write for the Guardian. As you are talking about potable water, digging borehole. I don't know if you remember that electricity is a problem now. To even pump the water. What is your thought about that?
solar power.
Okay. Then, on the issue of your party, a recent convention by the party portrayed a dysfunctional party, and your foray into politics using Labour Party gave an image to Labour Party. Now that there is a disarray, is it not a moral body that where you were, things that are unimaginable, things that the existing parties, APC and PDP never did, the Labour Party is doing it. The convention took place without the normal World Congress and the rest of them, and at the convention, they handed over the ticket of 2027 to you, and that of Abia State Governor. Don't you think everything is abnormal here?
Let me tell you, as you imagine the abnormality in Labour Party, it is not anything to be compared with what is happening in the other two parties. It is far minor, and it's something that will be dealt with. We're dealing with a system. Every system has its up and down, and it will be managed and everything. And I assure you, this will also be dealt with. There's nothing out of control in this exercise. Things go wrong and it's corrected. And I assure you, we'll deal with it. But again, I don't want to focus, but let's focus on the poor people of Nigeria.
My name is I write in the Nigerian Tribune. Two questions. One is a follow-up to the issue of the global. We know that the technology related to cracking hills, rocky things to pull out the stones we use either for houses or roads by borrowing of holes in several parts before the dynamites are set in. And the essence is when they borrow these holes, it weakens the strength of the hole. And that is where I have a concern with the issue of having boreholes in repeats across the country as a short-term measure. Because in the long term, how will these holes be filled back to be able to reduce that issue of the simple geography we learned in school that earthquake and other result from shift. And when you have such weakness in multiple places that may cause that, then we can't run away from your party, sir, because it is a vehicle that brought you more to many Nigerians than the fewer Nigerians who knew you before the 2023 election. I do know that in one of the briefings, I was not there, but I read it. He said that, I think he said that an auditor has been hired to look into the books of the party when the issue of the monies were coming up, so that were how they there. What is the status of that? And why is nothing seem to be heard about how far?
Thank you. Have you ever heard that other parties audited their accounts?
No, the Labour Party is...
Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that. We're not going to be reporting to you daily on the auditor's report. It is when the auditors ring roll, and if you want a daily report on the auditors, we will direct it to the auditors. They don't report to me daily. It is only when they finish. It could take them months, it could take them years. Even in their financial system, it takes years to audit an account.
So it is ongoing.
All I know is that we have engaged somebody. So that's it. And that's what we need to do. We can only come back to you to talk about it when it's finished. On the other issue, like I said, we are being consumed in the process of today and yesterday. If there's no crisis in the Labour Party, does it in any way solve my challenge that I'm appealing today? It will not provide water. Will it deal with the imaginary school system? No. I came to appeal for a different thing. And I listened to your concerns. And we will deal with that concerns. But please, I'm pleading with you, do not allow that to undermine my appeal. My appeal is what will help the poor people live a better life. That's what I go around. I've been going around this country trying to help in any way I can. And I'm appealing to other people to do the same thing. And that appeal, I need to enlist you as a partner, the press as partner, to help us to continue that direction without allowing it to be muddled up with the issue of party or no party. People, when we drill water, there's no party involved. There's no this. When I talk the issue of road now, is there any road built by any party? We want the road so people will pass. So let's deal with issues. Is there any party that buys food cheaper? So you say, if we solve this, it would have solved this. So let's deal with issues that are bothering our people today.
The last of
Okay, sir.
oh, Adana.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there is this talk of an alliance between you and Atiku to form a major party. Are you good?
Again, we're going back to my appeal. My appeal this morning is about issues that bother on people. If there's an alliance, will it provide potable water? Will it drill a borehole? If there's an alliance, will it make school work? I will appeal that we concentrate on this my challenge and leave everything. The day we discuss politics, I assure you people I'll spend time with you. Today is strictly to appeal. And I want to enlist you people. In your villages, what I'm saying today is that. And what we're doing in this country is not fair to the people of the country because we bother ourselves on issues of election, transaction, all sorts of things that does not concern the people. It is about the people. I've never gone to any of where I'm drilling borehole or paying for people to eat and everything and mention party. I will even tell them, I'm not here on campaign. You can vote whoever you want to when the campaign comes. However, I'm here to ensure that I support your well-being. And the well-being of the poor people is my concern 24 hours.
All right, now that we are not talking about the 2027 election or going to parties, and we are looking at having Quranic education vis-a-vis the Western world. Somebody recently accused you that you didn't build or complete any new school as a governor. How will you react to this?
Well, you need to go and read my manifesto. You know, what we do here is that we don't read people's manifesto and know what they promised. When I was campaigning as you know, and I'm sure you're aware, there was a term for nearly 2 years, the schools were shut in Anambra State. And everybody listened to, even yesterday when we were at Kaduna, a bishop said it, the Anambra school system went very low in rating. When I was campaigning to be governor, I said I'll change the educational system in Anambra State where schools and our children will never be closed. I will make sure I give the best to education. When I was coming to Anambra to be governor, we have what we call male-girl-child issue, where most of the males were not in school. I said I'll reverse that. And I'll make sure that Anambra State becomes one of the best. And when I started, we were number 26, 27, Wike and Neko. By the time I left, we were number 1. That is what, when I went to Anambra State, I know the state of the schools. When I left, every secondary school in Anambra State had, like I said, a borehole, they had computers, they had vehicles, they have generator. No other state in this country, not one, will say they were able to fit. You can go and ask even providers of computer. Even had, every secondary school had internet. You can go and ask one of the famous makers of computer sets. Let me remember their name now. No, Zynos is the agent we use, but it's what we bought was the HP. When we ordered computers and desktop tech for HP, they told us, printers, everything, they say, no government can afford this. But we bought them at a go, 30,000 complete sets for our various schools. No government was able to do that. We were able to train our teachers and everything. And the result is what you're seeing today. And to even go further, while I do not know who said that, and I don't want to know, but let me help you further. The only measure of development while I served as a governor is Millennium Development Goals, which was initiated in the year 2000 with Nigeria and over 150 countries as signatories. That is what China used to change China. India, Vietnam, you can go on and on. That was the only measure. I became governor and started implementing the MDG goals by the year 2008. That is clear 8 years after I had started. But by the time it was concluded in 2015, Anambra was number 1 in the implementation of that. I was even invited to United Nations to come and talk about my experience. That is measured by UNDP. This is not a measurement where you say Peter has scored himself high. And I can tell you, our school our hospitals and assistance became model for every other person. So I believe that we did the right thing. Those who are looking for the wrong thing, what I promised the people are delivered. I live in Anambra State today. I live in Onitsha. I'm just going there now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you.